States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
I would like to advise those present that notice of this regular meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken has been provided to the public in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice to this regular meeting of Thursday, April 10, 2025 was given by publication of the annual meeting notice of the authority with amendments as necessary, and was sent to the Star Ledger as a public notice on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, and sent to the City Clerk of Hoboken on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, with a copy of the agenda to be posted on the aforementioned bulletin board in City Hall, Hoboken Library, and Hoboken Police Department, and posted on the authority website on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. I direct the minutes of this meeting to state that I have announced that adequate notice of this meeting has been given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, Blanca.
Dave Edwards.
Here.
Anthony Forbes.
Present.
Barbara Reyes.
Present.
Gene Rodriguez. Michael Russo.
Present.
James Sanford. Erica Seitzman.
Present. Can we please have, can I please have?
Barbara, this is Terry. Just remember I'm not alone here.
Sure. I'll make sure you say your name, the first and last name, and spell it, correct?
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. George Muriel. Let me remind everyone that's coming up to speak, you have 5 minutes to speak. And as the court reporter stated, please, when you get to the mic, say your name and spell it out for her, please. Thank you.
My name is Jorge Muriel, that's J-O-R-G-E. Last name Muriel, M-U-R-I-E-L. I'm here on behalf of Fox Hills, talking for Fox Hills. I want to thank Jackie, but she ain't here today.
She's online, actually.
Okay. I want to thank her for giving us permission and to open the rooms up.
Here.
To clean up those rooms, which we did. They look better than it was. We're using them all the way, and we want to thank you too for speaking up for, I forget her name. Anyway, for speaking up last meeting we had of the pictures they sent you.
Yes, yes.
We appreciate that, and we appreciated Russo when he came last week to walk around the building with some of us. And he saw the condition of those floors that they look like they're not clean for months. And I also want to thank Sammy for telling me that we're the ones that chips the walls. And that's not right, because they blame everything on us. And we rent this place too, the voting machines, the Red Cross, and people that rent the place. They mostly are the ones that chips the walls, not us. And I asked them one time last week that the cleaning lady don't even clean the front. We're responsible, the building from 13th Street in Willow to 13th Street and Clinton, from 13th Street in Clinton to 12th and Clinton to 12th, from 12th and Clinton to 12th and Willow, all the way back to 13th and Clinton. If you go through the outside of the building, that building is still filthy for months. And that's not acceptable either, because people pass by there and see all that mess and say, that's how it looks inside. And that's not right for us. And another thing, yesterday we had bingo night. And they took out all the chairs, mostly, and left us without chairs. That's acceptable too. These ladies that are cleaning are making life miserable for us. And that's not right. We're here to help each other out when they need our help with it. If they need me to move tables or whatever it is, I'll do it. We don't mind. But when they do things like that, everybody was mad yesterday because I had to put everything back for the bingo. And that's unacceptable too. They think they run the building, these two ladies, especially the other one that was here first. She's influencing the other lady to telling her what to do. She's the one that's got to get to work, because this building wasn't that filthy upstairs. I was shocked myself when I saw those floors. And these holes from the rats coming in, they gotta be plugged. Not just put steel wool and leave it like that. They put steel wool, plaster it, so like that the rats don't come in into my, and there's a lot of holes, especially in the washing machine. When they cleaned up, put the new washing machine, there was holes all over, and I told them, put those machines back until they clean and cover those holes. But they didn't. They left it like that and put the washing machine. All we want to do is work with you guys so you can work with us and make life easier for both of us. And we got a lot of good tenants, you know, and we appreciate you all. And I want to thank also Russo for giving us a meeting last week, which we needed. Now let's get the ball together so we can all work together. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Medina.
Thank you.
We got it.
Adrian Woolen.
Adrian, A-D-R-I-E-N-N-E, R-A-W-L-I-N-S. A resident asked me to find out if there was something added to the lease recently about no fighting, and if you do, are you getting evicted? I told her that sounded like the one strike rule, but if there was anything other than the one strike rule that was recently added to the lease, I think they had gone down to sign a lease or something, and there was a question about it. I'm not even sure what the issue was or what was going on, so I don't know if there's any addition to the lease. I haven't seen anything, but that's what she wanted to know. And for extermination, I am not letting them in because I have health issues. My sons do, and we also have 2 young cats. The spray is just, it smells. I don't like the smell, gives me headaches. It affects my asthma, and my kittens, they cannot, I don't want them around that. I don't want them getting sick. Aside from that, those of us that have breathing issues, there should be an exception for that. And according to the paper, there's no exceptions, and I think that's wrong. Secondly, if we do have a lot of us with breathing issues, can you look into an alternative, not glue traps, because those are crap. They don't even work the way they're supposed to work. There has to be an alternative method or spray or even an alternative gel that doesn't smell, that's safe for pets and safe for those with breathing issues. I was already charged twice, last month and this month. I am not paying a fee for not letting them in. I have good reason, being my health. So there's gotta be an alternative. I know my son went out and bought something that's safe for animals and for humans that doesn't smell at all. And the housing authority needs to look into that so that people can allow that. And also, if you're entering someone's unit, be mindful to close the door and lock it again. I just got a complaint again regarding the exterminator because they went into a unit and they told me that they called housing and gave housing hell because they left the door unlocked and open. That's unacceptable. So if housing wants us to be responsible, housing needs to be responsible as well. Lock the door when you exit. Leave a notice, which is what you're supposed to do. When you enter, leave a notice on the door. We were here. This is what happened, whatever. Leave it on the table. Put it in the mailbox. You know, take action for that because that's unacceptable. You're late, Sanford.
Patricia Waiters.
Hi, good evening, guys. Pathways.
Can you state your name and spell it for the court clerk?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Patricia Waiters, 15 Church Towers, Waiters, Waiters, like a waiter in a restaurant with an S. Just two things real quick. First of all, I got something very positive to say, and I must say this. Since my son became a resident October 1st, 2023, I'm very impressed. Now I sympathize with the people that come up to this microphone and ask for your help, and to see you collaborate and work with them, the best thing that ever happened. Because people quick to talk negativity, and I try to instill that in y'all. That's not me. I don't care what they create to say I'm this wicked witch with the broom parked outside. I'm not. And I just show through my actions. And tonight when that young man just got up here, that clearly states that. I don't have to have bitter blood with Mr. Recco or Frank or whoever. It's just actions speak louder than words. And it shows the type of person you are. When you put your money where your mouth is. I learned to shut my mouth and let the actions speak. His apartment is phenomenal. I see a little roach or bug, I paranoid. I ain't gonna lie, I get paranoid and go get my little own roach sprays and my techniques and my little steel wool, but it's coming along good. Good, and he had nothing to say but nice things. He a little disappointed because mom put a camera on top of y'all cameras, because I'm not playing. And I told him watch the company he keep because he's fully responsible. And I wanted him to get his own apartment because I want him to grow up and learn responsibility and let him fall where the chips lie, let him be responsible for his actions. It's not because I'm Pat Waiters and that's my son. I don't want him pacified, I don't treat him like nobody else. I see somebody popping doors or even something that look like a joint, I'm gonna be the first one coming to you, okay? And I told him that. I'm not playing. I want housing to look good for everybody, not just my biological son and my kids. Thank you again, guys. Keep up the good work. Now, on this parking pass, council, I was trying to give it to you first because legislation is written on here about parking permits and what's prohibited and what's not. This is to help you guys, because people calling me saying, my car got towed, I don't belong here, this is gonna go in detail, because what they've been doing lately is going to get these senior passes, okay, which says clearly the city of, okay? It tells you the parking, what's permitted and what's not permitted, where they can and cannot park. But it's saying the whole jurisdiction of the city. It's not blocking out that your private property is federal, and it is. So the only thing I wanted you to do is maybe review this, because that's why the tenants is feeling like they're not in violation, because a lot of them, just like them blue handicap tags I'm getting sick of, a lot of them getting these now, popping them in the windshield, and then blame you guys when you tow their car. Okay? So I'm sharing this with you, but I need it back, because I'm a senior citizen. I'm sharing this with you, so you could review this legislation.
You got
okay?
another one.
Where?
You got another, you get two.
I got two.
Yeah.
One in my daughter's car, this one.
Only two.
Oh, look, I'm ready, right? See, I don't play. I don't commit crimes. But this is for you and for Corporation Council. I explain what it is. And maybe this will help a lot with the towing, because it tells them where they can and cannot, what's permitted, what side of the street. It's very informative, okay?
Well, Ms. Waiters, if that's your only copy, my suggestion is, if you don't mind, would be to make a copy or to bring it to the office and have them make a copy.
Oh,
I don't
perfect.
want you to not have it right now, it to get misplaced or anything like that. Right.
Oh,
So
that's
that would
great.
be my suggestion.
That's great, guys, and I appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work. If y'all ever need me, I'm on speed dial. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, just quickly, Director, maybe we could figure out some signage to let people know that if they're parking on housing authority property, that would not apply to them.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to petition the city to make changes to the permit, it might just be easier for us to do signage on our properties.
I don't think our signage says, don't pay attention to the city's rules.
Right.
But something that would
Yeah.
get to that we are not city
I was just gonna
property.
say that, because there's clear signs that
Yeah.
state that
Yeah.
you shouldn't park there if you're not a resident. There are signs,
And
they're
that'll help
visible,
on here too, Barbara.
but
The language is on here so they can't see, they don't read it.
Yeah.
It's on here.
maybe just
suggestion,
adding that
Councilman.
to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Maria Rodriguez?
Good evening, my name is Maria Rodriguez, MIRIYRODRIUEC. I don't know if this is the proper day for it, but I'm very upset, and a lot of people here are upset about the painting, the gray painting. So I went and I found out on my own, and I found this. which is said in studies linking color preference to the mood. Gray is frequently associated with depression, also darker colors like black and brown. Blue is known for its calming properties and is often used to reduce stress and anxiety. It creates a sense of tranquility. Green is the color of life and renewal, and is the most relaxing color for the human eye. Alleviate anxiety and depression. This is our house. Will you paint your house gray?
Yeah, I mean, we get your point. We don't do crosstalk.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming and taking your time to hear us, you know. And thank you very much, okay? You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no one else for a public portion. Director, I just wanted to bring up some points that kind of answer, like Mr. Muriel came up here and thanked us as commissioners. I think that's part of our duty, right? So we're here to serve the residents. So when you guys are saying concerns, and I get it, sometimes you guys don't want to go to the manager's office, or sometimes you have a better relationship with one of us. That's what we're here for. So it's part of our duty. When we take an oath to serve as a commissioner on this board, we're serving you guys. So with that, although we appreciate, I know personally I appreciate you coming here to say thank you, that's what I signed up for. So, Mr. Muriel, thank you. Thank you for speaking up for the residents. Another thing is about what Ms. Rollins brought up about the exterminator. So, I had a similar situation, and I didn't call it in because I have a good relationship with everybody at housing, but this past month when they actually came to my home, they must have knocked just one time, and my daughter actually was home, but she didn't get to the door in time. They opened the door, came in, and did what they had to do, and then they realized that my daughter was in the apartment. So I think we gotta kind of be careful, right? If my daughter's young, it can run to the door, right? But if it's a senior, it may make it take them a little longer to get to the door. So can we just be a little bit more conscious with, and again, it wasn't a big problem. They apologized. They were very sorry about it. It wasn't a big deal. But these are things that are happening, right? And it's important that you guys just kind of maybe speak to the exterminator. And I know Oscar always goes with him. And so I don't think it would be a problem if you guys just have a conversation for the future, especially making sure that you're locking the doors afterwards. So. And then the last thing about what Ms. Rodriguez said about the painting, I actually visited 220 Adams, and although I think you guys did an amazing job at painting, I do agree with the color. It's just an institutionalized, it makes it feel institutionalized. The gray that's being used, it's gloomy. It's not something that's happy, and I get it. We don't want to do beige and we don't want to do white because we know where that leads, right? But maybe getting a different shade of it, or maybe looking for different options, Director. Just my opinion, personally.
Powdered blue.
Something that's.
Thanks, Pat.
No, but color's very good, powdered blue.
Are we adding interior design to your resume?
Those are my comments.
You see my apartment, right?
Yeah, and that is part of my report in a bit, but I might as well bring it up now because we had a resident meeting here this past week, and it was a great resident meeting, and we talked about how this year we are going to paint this building, top to bottom. All the common areas are going to get painted, scraped, redone through the whole building. And one of the things we said there is before we do this, we will get together with the residents and talk about color selection, because we definitely want something that you're comfortable with when we do this painting job, because it's going to be a big one. By the way, we're also bidding out the floor stripping and waxing to do the floor stripping and waxing every 4 months. So that both of those things are coming here to Fox Hill and to Adams and Monroe, by the way, but definitely to Fox Hill.
I understand that the problem too, this is like a common area, people coming and out, they got a mop, they got to clean, and you need a darker color.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing the person in the audience. You've got to come up to the microphone.
I understand about the darkened color. With clean, with waxing and all that, people, kids or whatever, it's more maintenance, it is darker. But maybe the darker in the bottom part and the lighter color on the top, that will be I think it would be.
We will have that conversation with residents before we start painting.
Will you have will you come out with the colors that you, I don't know, to say you could afford?
Yes.
Or that you got in mind?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That would be it.
So that was all I had. I don't know if any other commissioner had any comments. If not,
Director Julie?
yeah.
With the continuing resolution passed by Congress, we have to keep vigilant. It was a continuing resolution for 6 months. We did not get hit very hard because we got the same funding as we did last year, but just for 6 months. Now, when they do pass the actual budget, both the Congress and the legislature and the Senate are proposing deep cuts to housing. So anything we could do to get in touch with our senators, congressmen, as you know, money's already tight. And as they go through that reconciliation process, it may well get tough around August, September, when they come back with the amount of funds that they're giving us. As you know, they've already pulled back our technical assistance grants, so that's gone. They're talking about other grants for the year that they're just going to cancel. But I think also we really have to stay vigilant and speak as loudly as we can. We are working with the national groups and organizations, keeping in touch with them. Many of you know I'm on the housing committee for the FADA National Group, and we're going to be getting a lot more information in May on where we think the administration's going, but we're going to have to keep our belts tightened as we go into the next year or two. It's going to be interesting. As noted last month, we do not know how changes in the immigration laws are going to hit us. We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen if ICE walks in the door and how we might handle those issues. We haven't had any announcement on that topic from the new HUD secretary, so we're waiting to hear on those. I believe it's coming. We just have to keep our ears open and see what we can do. Same with the DEI or the announcement that English is now the national language. I don't know what to do with all that, but we will be as flexible as possible. On a non-national level, HUD has notified us that we're going to go through our rounds of inspections in April and May, maybe going into June, but definitely April and May. So you will be seeing us doing the pre-inspections, and then on April 22nd, the HUD inspectors are coming to Harrison, and then on its heels of that, Andrew Jackson and Christopher Columbus and Adams and Monroe. So CCG. And CCG, thank you. So that's going to be happening over the next month or so. Month to 2 months. I do want to make a note that over a year ago we entered into an agreement with the City of Hoboken to participate in the Community Solar Program. That is going to be bearing fruit soon. We have been in touch with the city and with their consultant and with PS&G, and I hope that by this time next month we will have a good idea of how much we will actually have by that agreement in our kitty to do resident services. This money is solely for and can only be used for resident service issues. We'll be talking to the resident councils at my meet and greets, and we'll also be talking about to the RAB board about programming that money. So that's exciting. I will have more information. We are meeting with the city over the next couple of weeks on that issue.
Director, if I could just jump in real
Yes.
quick. We, from the city side, we just discussed this in one of our committee meetings yesterday, and we're looking, there's multiple phases, so not pertaining to the housing authority, but other buildings in the city actually pertaining to our housing choice voucher residents across the city. And they're projecting in that round of 800 people, almost a 40% savings in energy costs. Wow. So if we yield even a fraction of that, we're going to have, that's going to be a significant savings for the housing authority. So
I don't want to quote any figures, but I think some people are going to fall off their chairs next month.
yeah.
at how much we're going to be able to do in resident services. Now, this money can't be used to paint, it can't be used to do that, but if you're thinking about more programs, if you're thinking about bus, if you're thinking about things, there's things we're gonna be able to do.
Yep.
But I think we're gonna be
Yeah,
very
I
happy
think,
with
I think
that.
it's,
Yeah.
can bear that fruit.
It's a good deal.
Bless.
Thank you. I do want to remind the commissioners that our yearly FDS filing deadline is coming up end of April? End of April. So we have to get in file on that FDS form. Hoboken Housing Forward update. Frank, our new development director, you wanna take us through on where we are?
Franco. Good.
Come up here so Terry can hear. So we continue to meet with our redevelopment council, Reno Kavanaugh, and team, the Housing Authority and Fitzpatrick Group. And we continue to work through the MDA. This that I've given to you guys, this is an estimate, nothing to hold to the fire, but it's based on our best laid plans that we have in front of us right now. So for spring of 25, where we are now, we are hoping to have the MDA in front of you for next board meeting, which we're as close as we get. We have a little bit more negotiation to do, but we're excited to bring that to you guys. Directly after that, the next step is to get to the city, so that the city can ratify and approve the HHA, we can get some council approval. Between the fall of 25 and winter of 20, I'm sorry, that's the typo, winter of 25. Permits, application, financing, and then hopefully summer of 26, we should have shovels in the ground if everything moves. Obviously, we know things change, but our goal, because what I see in all our partners and all the relationships that we've built throughout this process, if things keep moving the way they're moving, we're looking good. And more importantly, as we're working through this, we're getting to the point where I think we should start thinking about phase 2 and what that's going to look like, and putting out an RFQ and starting that whole second round. So by the time we get shovels on the ground and we're moving, we don't have to at that point start. We want to get these phases going as soon as possible. At this point, where we are, the biggest thing that we need to check off right now is that MDA. That's going to make our plan and the Housing Authority together. We will be the developer, and then through that we take the next few steps. Awesome.
I would like to note on that for residents that you remember all the work we did on the strategic plan, the resident meetings, the community meetings. That's going to happen again. Okay. So you're going to be seeing that as summer comes in and we get our feet on the ground with the developer partner and start doing plans, start turning our strategic plan into real drawings and real timeline plans. We'll be meeting with residents at every site and joint meetings as well. So a lot of people ask me, oh, you guys disappeared. Well, we've been working hard, but now it's going to be time again. Once we bring that to go back to that strategic plan, all that input you had has not been lost. All of the values that this board has set have not been lost. They are still in place. So we'll be back with you on all of that as we progress through the next year. Thank you.
And something that we're going to add to is at every resident meeting that we have, whether now we have the monthly birthday parties, we have whatever housing authority sponsored event, we're going to have a table there to always have something for whatever the most recent update, because not everybody makes it to the big meetings. And not everybody likes to ask questions in those settings. So what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to get as much kind of like, spontaneous reactions from folks where they feel comfortable and they can really tell us what they think. We're going to start to capture that in some testimonial videos. And Sandy and I are now working on the redevelopment tab of our website, that what we want to do is make sure that you guys, anybody that's interested, can go there monthly and see fresh updates and fresh information. Right now what you find there is the most important thing, your principles. What came after that is the strategic plan and the redevelopment plan are there. So as we get documents that pertain to this, we'll have them uploaded for you. And hopefully, the point is that by the time we get to these resident meetings, everybody's already comfortable, and we don't have to start from scratch with everybody, so.
I love that idea, I love everything that you're saying, and I love that you're incorporating the residents, but can we also think about incorporating our neighbors, our
Yes,
stakeholders? It's
indeed.
really important
Absolutely.
because they're gonna have a say in it, you know? These are our neighbors, they live across the street from us, you know? It's gonna affect them as well. So I think it's really important that we also not only, and I think that's a great idea with what you just said, setting up a table at our events, because we do have non-residents that come to these events, so they can actually put their input in. But definitely when we're having even some of these meetings, also inviting them in to the housing authority so that they can have some input in what's happening.
Thank you for that, Barbara. And if you remember the strategic planning process, we did.
Mhm.
We're going to be doing that again. The police, the fire department, the city, the residents, our neighbors, everyone needs to be a part of this plan. I think that's why we've been so successful so far, and we're not going to stop doing that. We're just not.
Frank, I got some questions for you.
Sure, yeah.
So, this update on the redevelopment plan, you mentioned the NDA. Just for the public, for the record, what is the NDA?
Master Development Agreement.
Okay. And when can the board and this commissioner see the NDA?
We should have something for you very soon.
Very soon.
We're expecting right now the exhibits, which are the actual meat and potatoes of the document, which is we're going to have good information that you would want to see, which is when you're going to see financials, you're going to see project information, you're going to see things, timeline stuff. So we should have that with very shortly.
Very short.
So we want to get that to you obviously before next month, and with enough time to absorb it. So it should be very soon.
And how many commissioners have seen that NDA yet?
Right now, we shared it with H4H, and we're going to be sharing it next with the capital improvement.
So the members of the H4H board have seen the NDA?
A draft. It's a draft. It doesn't have exhibits.
Could you share that draft with the
I need you to speak one at a time, you're speaking over each other. Don't forget, I'm here.
I just asked whether the board could see the rough draft of the NDA agreement.
Yeah, I have no problem sharing that with the board. And what we're going to be doing is bringing what we're doing now, because we're working on revising that draft. So that draft is still not final. We'll be bringing it to the Capital Improvement and Redevelopment Committee, and as soon as they're comfortable with it, then that draft is going to go to the entire board. And that is what we're going to ask approval for, based on any comments that you all have. So, but
It should be very soon.
I'm more than welcome to share.
That's all well and good, Frank, but what I would like as a commissioner, and all the rest of the board is welcome to whatever information they want. I mean, we have every right to request information. And with regards to the redevelopment, I have serious misgivings about the redevelopment. The approval that was put before this commissioner, I mean, documents were withheld from me. An attempt was made to remove me from the board so that I wouldn't vote on the resolution. So I would like to see what you have now. And do I need to put that in writing, or and wait 14 days for it? Or since it already exists, could you give it to me, let's say by the end of the day Friday?
I would suggest that we also follow the rules. Like, we're not changing the rules mid-meeting. If any commissioner here wants any information, I'm glad you guys are putting it on the record, but I would also recommend that it is sent to the director, and the director will make sure that it is sent out. He stated he would send it out to the entire board. Again, I don't know if that would take him 14 days or not, but he has an option. He does have 14 days to respond.
Madam Chair, that's a great suggestion. Following rules is all well and good. But with regards to this redevelopment plan, the rules have not been followed. The rules have been broken repeatedly over the past 2 years. This board, this director, tried to remove me from the board to prevent me from voting on the redevelopment.
That's actually false.
With all due respect, Commissioner Sanford, this has nothing to do with the redevelopment.
Can I get the draft by the end of the week?
I am going to take responsibility for that. Again, please put that in writing, and I will get it to you as soon as possible.
Is as soon as possible the end of the week, or 14
He said as soon as possible.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Okay.
So
about less than an hour ago, you replied to an email asking me for an example of obstruction This is obstruction. You continually try to
Sir.
delay and delay
Sir,
and delay.
I totally disagree with you. You have
course
asked,
you do.
you have asked me for something 5 minutes ago, right? 5 minutes ago. How could I be obstructing for 5 minutes?
I asked
So
Frank for
I'm
something for
speaking,
Friday.
please, I'm speaking.
Yeah, bro, go
Friday
ahead.
is 20.
I like
speaking.
listening to your lies.
Well, I would
Can we
like,
please be respectful of one another?
yes, okay, I
please?
will. I would just like to
And
very,
if this has nothing to do, and with all due respect for everyone, if this has nothing to do with what we're speaking about right now as far as the redevelopment, if you guys would like to have future comments, we have new business, you can bring them up there,
Thank you.
but let's get through the report.
This
Thank
is
you.
not absolutely, we just heard a report on the
I do-
MDA.
I
I'm
do-
asking questions about the MDA, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, what you were just speaking about, with all due respect, had nothing to do with the MDA.
It absolutely
And the
does.
accusation that you just made against the director had nothing to do with the
The
MDA.
accusation is very well
So,
true.
okay, so we're not speaking about the MDA, so if you have any further questions at this point,
But Frank just said he talked
specifically,
about the MDA.
okay, but
The director prevented me
specifically,
from talking to Frank about
He did not. He has
redevelopment,
not.
yes,
He
back
has
in
not.
November.
we're not doing this.
Hello, this is the court reporter again. If you're gonna talk over each other, I cannot take you both down at the same time.
I apologize, I do sincerely apologize. It's 10 to 1 up here, right? I have to speak over people to be heard.
Excuse me, I'm trying to make an official record for everyone's benefit, not yours, not anybody else's, everybody. It's the whole room, so I would appreciate the respect that you give me to make a good record for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, and my apologies.
Please reflect that it's 10 to 1 up here.
my understanding of what has happened, I'd like to make 2 comments. One is I'd like to completely disagree with the commissioner that I've ever lied, that I've ever obstructed, I've ever done. That's just nonsense. Second is that I understand that he is going to put that request in writing and that I will get it back to him as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further?
Project-based vouchers?
There you go. Frank, don't go away. Project-based vouchers?
Yes.
That's in your court too these days.
Yes, that also continues to move. Right now, HUD has our subsidiary review, and they're in the process. That should be coming back. Also, I know Triad has been working on the 58, so that should be coming back. We are just awaiting approvals. Once approvals come back in, we just need to move into a mayhap and start the process. After that, that should be fairly smooth. There are some housekeeping things that still, we're getting together with the American Legion next week, and we're just going to catch up. But right now, the ball is in HUD's court. We're awaiting some approvals.
And again, we're meeting with them again next week just to address it. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. I continue to meet with residents. We had a great, I think, one of our best RAB board meetings ever this past week. Dealt with a lot of great issues. I continue to meet with residents on a personal basis. Housing for Hoboken met on March 25th. The trustees were brought up to date on the redevelopment project and on phase 2 of the Fox Hill renovations. Speaking of the Fox Hill renovations, again, we had I think, a great meeting at Fox Hill this past week. We talked about the renovations that are coming to Fox Hill. We talked about painting in all common areas. We're getting those prices right now, and we've committed to the residents that this building will be painted this year. We talked about the installation of cameras in the elevators, which is part of the scope of work. We also put in a proposal for a CDBG grant request for that work. And if we can get that, that frees up even more money in our renovation funds that we have here. We talked about the modification of the curtain walls within the units. Fox Hill has a cold air problem. When it gets cold and the wind is blowing, it gets chilly in these units, particularly for elderly disabled folks. And the reason for that is these curtain walls under the windows. They're like cheesecloth almost. So we've got the engineers studying how we can resolve that problem in each unit. And then, of course, the replacement of the storm doors was a high priority for the residents here. We do expect to come in May to appoint one trustee for an additional term with a recommendation to appoint a new trustee. So we are going to be coming back, that group is going to be coming back to this board for a reappointment of one of the trustees and hopefully a recommendation for a new trustee appointment. So that's coming up for Housing for Hoboken. Special capital projects, our defensible space fencing is moving along nicely and is nearly
I'm gonna
completed.
ask if anybody has a phone, if you can just put it on vibrate, please.
And I will not speak for the entire police department, and I won't necessarily speak for the sergeant back there, but I have had 2 officers come to me and thank me for the fencing along Andrew Jackson, that it's making a difference already in the hanging out back there. That is a sign that that is our property, not yours. And if you go in there and hang out and somebody comes in that way, you can't get out, right? You know, the police, before you climb over that fence, they'll get you. So it's, I think, Sarge, what do you think? I think it's making a difference back there already. And we're almost done. The project is almost done. A couple small things to do, but I think that's a great project. 90% of the courtyard improvements are complete. City inspections are going on. We did have a slight delay with a hookup with the Hudson Sewage Authority. So we're hoping to be done this month, but it looks like next month. That's been resolved, but we had a slight delay over that. Security camera installation on each floor in the rooftop at Harrison Gardens is complete. We are now able to see every floor at Harrison Gardens by camera. Our first development where we can see every single floor. Yeah, it is awesome. It's already making a difference too from the management side. They're coming back and reporting on some incidents that are happening there. The hallway and stairwell refurbishment work is completed. Some callback work is in process and a punch list is being created. We will have a small change, a change order that we'll bring you that we'll talk about later tonight. Our exterior door replacement, 6 of the 7 doors have been received and installed. A small change order is being requested tonight for the 7th door, which would bring the project to completion. There is a small hiccup in the installation there. We did walk together with the city staff last week to finalize the scope of work for our new rodent-resistant trash collection system. We finalized that scope of work. We've got one more meeting with them to absolutely finalize the scope of work, make sure everyone's on the same page, and then it's going to be going out for bidding and/or pricing. So we would think that definitely this summer we will be able to have our new trash-resistant dumpsters in. They're going to be replacing our dumpsters throughout our housing authority sites. Mama Johnson, thanks to the city, they are starting work very soon on a new like umpire box back of home plate at Mama Johnson Field. That's going to be a cool improvement. And they're working on the bathrooms to put bathrooms into our library building, our outbuilding there at Mama Johnson. So those porta potties would be gone, and we'd have real bathrooms over at Mama Johnson. So pretty exciting, and thanks to the city for that. They're funding that. Management staff on management side continues to work on non-payment and eviction issues. And what would you like to say, Yesenia, our new management director? Anything you'd like to add to that? You have to come up.
Sorry, I got your bed. They set you up. They set you up.
Always. Yesenia, Y-E-S-E-N-I-A, Villafane, V-I-L-L-A-F-A-N-E. Our occupancy rate stands at 97%. Our PIC reporting score has dropped to 93 due to tenant recertification issues. Cease notices will be going out in the coming days. We're working closely with Matt on this. Last month we had 12 move-ins, 6 move-outs, 8 transfers. We currently have 122 families on repayment agreements. We expect to file warrant of removals for the tenants that violated their court agreements by Monday. And then our next batch, we expect to go to court by early mid-May for non-payment. We're also going to start our mass pet registration. Notice packets will be sent out to every tenant. I think that's about it. And also on the parking, maintenance has been installing more parking signs because we did get complaints that there weren't enough parking signs. So they have been installing parking signs. But the parking assignments, they're going to be delayed a little because we have the Inspire, like Mr. Rocco said. And I think that's pretty much it.
Before you sit down, Yesenia, a couple things just to put a star by it. Warrants of removals will be issued. These are folks that have gone to court, signed an agreement with the judge and us for how they are going to repay us. And then they've defaulted. Right? So now we go back and say, they've defaulted, Judge, on your agreement, Judge. Right? Not our agreement, their agreement with the judge. Give us the unit back.
How many was that again?
13.
13.
So be prepared. You're going to hear about this, right? And our position is we will be glad to come in, but we're going to come in and talk with the judge because it's not just us anymore, right? We had repayment agreements. It was just us, and we're okay. We'll work with you. We'll work with you. But now you got to get back in front of that judge again, and I would recommend with an attorney. Because we are not interested in making people homeless, but at some point, when you go to the judge and say, I'm going to pay the housing authority 200 extra bucks a month, and then you don't. Right?
Director, maybe, and we can do this offline, but maybe you could give some of us guidance as to how to handle those calls and what we should be saying, because I know we're all going to get them.
Well,
so
that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that offline, and just direction, right? Like, you know, is it as simple as just saying, hey, call Matt? Yeah, like, you know.
And I'd be happy to do that offline. The one thing I will mention, just because this is essentially the place I would start with that is, Housing Authority requests a warrant of removal if there's a certain amount owed. Now, of course, it's not just the agreement amount, it's the subsequent months as well. If the tenant, and that will have to be in the warrant request, the full amount. If the tenants pay that full amount by, even after a lockout takes place, 3 days after a lockout takes place, the Housing Authority has to accept it. So that would be the first thing I would tell anybody who comes to you is, if you can come up with all the money, you can stay. So people should, as quickly as they can, you know, seek assistance from the county, from whomever they can. You want to do that before you get to court. That's not something you want to wait until the day of court for.
Right.
But we can get into more detail offline.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's going to be hard.
Thank you.
And thank you, Yesenia. I think you are going to see us doing a big push on pets. I have had it up to here with dog poop, with people having more dogs than they should and all that. So we've been working hard with this guy on what we have to do. It's not easy enforcing that. And I do ask residents that if you see somebody, and it will be confidential, but if you know somebody's got a couple of big dogs and they're not registered, please call your manager and tell them, because we can and will take action. I've had it with these animals, so it's time.
Director, question on that. Do we also require that those dogs are registered with the city?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just wanted to double check.
It's a basic requirement, and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, we were able this past week to get a list of dogs that are registered to our addresses, right? So if somebody registered their dog, but they didn't register with us,
Gotcha.
we will be able to knock on their door and say, look, you've got to register.
Yep.
And if I could, Director, I don't want to put words in Yesenia's mouth, but all of that detail will be in the first notice that goes out. It will be providing residents with that information, so they don't have to go looking for it, telling them how to register the dogs in the city.
Thank you.
Yeah. We need to do something here.
Yep.
So we do continue to develop, we do have out on the street a proposal to outsource some or all of our recertification processes. So we will update you as that comes back in. Our 220 Adams front door is being repaired now. Our 540 elevator should be back up and running tomorrow, is my understanding. We've been down at 540 for a few days, so if anyone's interested, we should get that back up and running tomorrow. On maintenance, we're accepting applications, continue for additional part-time building maintenance workers and part and full-time mechanics. Please call your manager's office with any specific cleaning or repair need. Our boiler crew continues to work on preventative maintenance. We're almost through the season, almost, and they have done a tremendous job again this year, keeping everyone warm. It hasn't been easy, but they do a great job with our old systems. We did have, you'll see later, an emergency contract due to a storm leak at Harrison Gardens this past month. I'm proud to say the emergency was repaired with no discernible loss in heat. As time allows, our maintenance crew has been making progress on painting and repairing lobby areas. Again, we had a small delay because of our Inspire inspections coming up, but we are developing a bid package to be able to paint this building and Monroe. And we've also done that bid on regularly scheduled floor stripping and waxing. We do have, on the maintenance side, a product that our exterminator has that's a gel product. And what we're getting is, what I'm getting from them is the background information on that gel product and how that works. That's not a spray, it's a gel. So I am going to get safety information on that, make sure we have that, and see if that meets standards with folks. Because again, our debacle, and I understand this, our debacle is that if we don't treat every unit, you don't treat the building. And you've got to treat the building in order to get rid of the issues. So we have to find a way, and we're sensitive to both with asthma. We do a lot of gel treating as well. Anytime somebody calls in and says, I want gel rather than spray, we do it. And so we have that alternative already, and we're going to keep looking for a product that everyone can feel comfortable with. Our elevators, extermination, plumbing report is there. Our operating budget to actual state. Yes, sure.
Quickly, you know, I know you all heard me say this a million times, and I'm getting to the point where I'm really concerned. I really want to revisit the direct hire language with the unions, because I think we always try to get more and more employees to come in, especially with a certain skill set, and I think we're doing ourselves a disservice where we could go direct to the unions. It's a direct hire from us, and it's on our terms, and Director, you can make those choices as you need to. If that doesn't make sense financially, you can choose not to do it. If it does make sense financially, you could choose to do it. And I'm at the point where I know HUD, we were concerned about HUD's involvement and them not allowing us, but I really think we should just do it, and then if they come back and give us a hard time, we could revisit it elsewhere. But I really think that's something we should do. We should do this direct hire program with the local unions, because they have all the skills to do this kind of work, especially the plumbers.
So can you and I and them get back together? Let's promise each other that within the next 2 weeks, we will get back together and refresh this.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been a while, thank you. Finance is working on housing trade voucher budgets. We do have positions, 2 positions that are open right now. We do have a modernization coordinator. Both of these positions are budgeted for this year. This is a position that would be under the Director of Development that will be responsible for all of our capital improvement projects and eventually redevelopment projects. This, again, is something that we need to take off of Emil, so he's got a little more bandwidth, and we do a better job at it. Our Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Supervisor, that is the position, Yesenia's old position, that was vacated when she was brought over to the Director of Management position. So we've got those positions open. On resident services, I'd like to know if Becky would like to get up and say a thing or two. And maybe she'll introduce Namibia.
Good evening, all. Good evening. So, I have Namibia. I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a project that we want to work on called Inheritance Theater Project. I'll call Namibia up here to explain a little bit more about it, and then I'll follow up with my report.
I appreciate it. Good evening, Director Recco. Hello to the Board of Commissioners. And I want to say special thank you to Becky and Lourdes for plugging me right in with the Housing Authority. This is my son, Raul. And maybe the last time that you all saw me here, he was not here on Earth yet.
He's always welcome.
Thank you. Raul, I'm just going to say a few words, okay? Remember? Remember we're going to talk about the theater project that you went to? Can you stand here next to me so I can see your face? Actors ready? I don't know. Actors ready? 1, 2.
Remember, what do you get down?
Okay, so we can just don't talk. It's okay. My name is Namibia Donadio, and I am a resident of Hoboken, New Jersey. I grew up here.
Could I just have the spelling of your name, please?
Namibia. And then last name Donadio is Donadio.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Today I'm here representing the Inheritance Theater Project, which is a national organization that does bridge building work across siloed communities for the purposes of creating deepened relationships in places where they may not otherwise have conversation. I am thrilled to be doing this work because the last time that I was able to come and partner directly alongside with the Hoboken Housing Authority, I worked with my organization and we did a project within the Housing Authority. This time, it's like coming back with new friends and also spreading out this project so that the city of Hoboken can weave together. And so my intention and our intention for this project is to reach across town throughout the city to get communities in rooms first, and their first wave is communities talking with each other about Hoboken, particularly around the theme of water. And the next phase of our project, which we have officially begun as of this weekend, is to get those communities from all different sectors. So we've spoken to theater students in the high school, senior citizens, activists, artists. We just, thanks to the facilitation of Commissioner Reyes and the resident services, just had our a meeting with the group 10 Reasons at the Housing Authority. We'll be doing a follow-up workshop with them. And just to share, the idea is to talk to different pockets of the population that have different senses of identity and viewpoints in Hoboken. The end goal is by the end of May, these people from all these different sectors are going to be making and creating together to create one performance, one big performance that's going to be representing the stories that they would like to be told about Hoboken. And not only that, contrary to some organizations that might come in and say, tell me your story and we'll do a play about it, this project asks people from Hoboken to participate in the creation, hires local artists to actually be part of it, and at the end asks the people who were part of the project to give back funding to a local organization that's already doing groundwork. So the idea is whatever's happening in the community, advance that work. I'd like to invite you to the very next public playmaking that's happening, and we're already partnering with the Hoboken Housing Authority that is going to be hosting us at 411 Marshall Drive on April 27th. On that day, anyone is welcome to come, and we're having actually a special kind of initiative to say bring your children. Kids can always come, but we're just making sure that like we're getting actually childcare and people babysitting. Like there's going to be snacks. You can come in and out. All of our sessions are come at whatever time you want to come and leave, and so that's the idea. So that's my time. That's great. Like that means. Thank you. If there are any special details, I think I've covered what is important about this project. We'll have more opportunities for playmaking, but if you would like, please sign up. I'll pass around a sheet if anybody would like to receive direct emails from the organization, and so that you can see what other things we're doing around town. Mom. Thank you, my love. And thank you so much for the open welcome. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
He's our newest commissioner, guys.
Thank you. Do you permission to show a pound? Thank you.
Come on, I'll get it. You gonna hang out?
I think he wants to leave. You can continue.
Becky
Is
Espinoza.
that Becky still up there?
Yes, that's Becky now.
Okay, thanks.
Becky
Somebody just
Espinoza.
say I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Did some.
So it's Becky Espinoza, BECKYESPINOSA. So first I would like to start off with our past events. We had a resident advisory board meeting on Tuesday the 8th. Next we had a little Easter basket giveaway at Monroe Gardens on Tuesday the 8th as well. Last Sandra Smith had a flea market at Monroe Gardens, and that really well. Now on to ongoing events. We have a lot. We still have the food pantry every other Friday. We now have exercise band class at Fox Hill Gardens every Friday at 10 a.m. Bingo at Monroe Gardens, Fox Hill Gardens, Christopher Columbus Gardens. Christopher Columbus Gardens actually starts next week, so we were really excited about that.
Do we know what day?
We don't have a day intact yet, but hopefully next Friday the date is that. I'll get you the date. Okay. We still have senior crochet social at Monroe Gardens on Mondays at 12. Amazing Truth Society Karate on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 3. Women's Self-Defense Workshop, that one's new. We're getting a really good turnout for that one. That's at the Eddie L. Forbes Community Room from 1 to 3 on Saturdays. A monthly birthday celebration. They're scheduled for the 28th at Monroe Gardens, 1 to 3, the 29th at Adams Gardens, 1 to 3, and the 30th at Fox Hill Gardens, 1 to 3. We have pastoral care at Monroe Gardens the first 3 Fridays of the month from 7 p.m. to 9. Fox Hill Gardens the first 3 Saturdays of the month, that's also pastoral care. We have Dr. Purisima. He's a podiatrist that comes out to once a month to all our elderly disabled locations. Computers for Hoboken. We're working on getting computer labs. We're still working on that right now, and low-cost internet for our residents. We have some flea markets coming up. Saturday the 12th, at Adams Gardens. On Saturday the 19th at Foxville Gardens. All right, Tuesday, April 15th, we have the Resident Advisory Council Vice President election. That'll be from 1 to 3:30.
That's for all ends?
That's specifically for Monroe Gardens.
Okay.
The vice president resigns.
Okay.
Sorry guys, just trying to catch up here, so. We're working on the final details for the Aaron Lewitt Garden project. Really excited about that one. And the highlights for this month is that the students from St. Francis Church came out to Adams Gardens and handed out baskets. Thank you for putting me in contact with them.
Awesome.
It was really nice of them. And I have some really good news. I'm excited about this one.
Oh, let's hear it.
Computers for People. We finally got our first computer donated to one of our residents. So they brought it to the office today, so I'm really happy about that.
That's great.
And that's it for me.
Thank you so much.
I just want to add, I think you forgot, 10 Reasons is open Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 9, and it's open to anyone in the community.
I'm very sorry about that. I had it here, but I got lost along the way.
No worries.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Good night, people.
Good night.
Good job. You're welcome.
Director, is that?
That's the end of my report, thank you.
Director, I have a few questions regarding to this. I know we spoke about the bathrooms on the field, and I am so happy to hear that we are actually putting actual bathrooms there and no longer the porta johns. I know that I have received, and I brought this to your attention, I received complaints from parents about the porta johns not being open after the city utilizes the field, which you know how strongly I feel about that. I understand that they buy the lock and they're the ones that take care of it, but they need to understand that they're using our field, and our kids still play there when they leave. So it's important that that porta john, when other sports are happening, is open. I also understand that they don't want individuals just utilizing it, right? But I'm pretty sure that the other entities that are using the field will make sure that that doesn't happen, and that they would close it after they would leave. So I think that's really important. I think we need to set that standing with them, and if it comes to it, I think we should provide the locks. We should have the locks for that and open it for everyone, because it's really not fair. If my child is playing more than one sport on that field and it's open for football, but then it's not open for baseball, and they're still on the field, it just doesn't make sense to me, right? And it's not about the adults, it's about the children. Because we do have children who are not from the Housing Authority. I understand that maybe the kids from the Housing Authority can run home and use the bathroom, but what happens to those kids that don't live there? It's not fair. They have to run around and try to find somewhere to use the bathroom. So I just want us to come to an agreement with the city where it is open. I know the city, I believe at 10 o'clock, has somebody that goes down there and is supposed to make sure the field is closed and the porta johns are locked. So again, I'm not understanding why they're locked after a certain entity utilizes it. So I would love for that to be resolved. And then I just wanted to touch base on this was also brought up during the public portion about maintenance. And as I stated before, I have a great relationship with everybody at the Housing Authority. But I do have my complaints as well. I'm a resident. My building has not been cleaned for weeks. It hasn't, for days. And I can tell you because I have a ring on my door, so every time they're cleaning, I see when they're cleaning it. And it hasn't happened. There's also storage that's being stored in the first floor that shouldn't be happening. That's a hazard. And I made a complaint about it, and today the actual piece or thing that was put there was actually just put neater in the same spot so it doesn't block the stairway, but it's still there. So, you know, and these are all, it's a fire hazard, it's a trip hazard. I mean, it's right in the, and you can see it from the camera when you're walking in. So I think, and I also think it's important, and not just for my building, I think any of the little buildings, you know, I don't think it's as bad when they're yanking the doors, right? But when you're propping things on the doors, it's causing, not only is it a hazard, because we know what we go through down there, with trespassers going into the hallways, but also the rodents. Just the other day, I felt bad. There was a family left a carriage downstairs. The door was prompt to open, and there was a mouse in the bottom of the carriage. Like, how fair is that? You know, and I get it, the carriage should not have been left there. And a lot of it has to do with the residents, right? We have to take accountability because we live there. So I'm not blaming just maintenance, but I do think that we have to do a little better. And if we don't have enough staff to clean, just shoot a message to the individuals in the building. I'm pretty sure that there's many residents that wouldn't mind coming out and cleaning their section if you say, look, I'm shorthand, I really don't have it, because nobody really wants that dirt in their, I know I wouldn't, in their apartment. So I think it's just better communication with maintenance and the residents, that's all.
Thank you. And I did, since you sent me that message, I have talked to staff and we are working out a plan to work on those. Certainly the cleaning, there's no reason that your building shouldn't have been cleaned on a regular basis, so I personally apologize for that. We will shake that tree. Of course, sticking stuff in the door to prop it open, we've got to be a team on that, residents. We've got to be a team, because we can't be watching 24/7. But again, one of the things that will help is if a resident thinks that rock was put in there at about 8 o'clock at night, contact your manager and say, I think about 8 o'clock at night somebody did that. Because then they can go back to 8 o'clock last night and specifically look at that time and see if we can identify who's doing that. So it's a hard one.
Thank you, sir.
Director, I'm listening to the chair's words about accountability. To what degree are the illegal food businesses operating on the housing authority campuses adding to the rodent problem at the authority?
I don't. Food companies on the house.
Yeah, Barb's Cooking, your illegal food
It's done
business.
with.
How about taking some accountability for your illegal business?
May I say something?
Absolutely.
Commissioner Sanford, we took care of this last year.
Yeah.
We
You
did
cover
our-
up, fixed it, nice
No,
and with a nice little bow.
excuse me, I'm speaking.
Yeah.
We did not cover it up. We followed HUD procedures.
Okay, great.
So I would like to know what you think we're covering up.
Please tell me, what were the HUD procedures?
The
and
HUD
how were
procedures
how were
is
they
to have,
followed?
HUD procedures is the director sends a letter to the resident, ask them to cease and desist, report the monies owed. First of all, because we have no idea, we're not allowed to know. That's a HIPAA violation. That is between housing and the resident. So, you tell me what we did as a board wrong besides that. That was cease and desisted. That should be never happen again. It was over when it happened. To continually bringing this up time and time again is getting old. We got better things to do. So you have some other issues, you have some positive, constructive criticism, bring it on. Cooking? No. The macaroni gate is over. Thank you.
So, the vice chair just asked what the board could have done differently, what the board did wrong. The board is showing preferential treatment to a resident, to a member of the board.
No. We told you, there was one procedure. You are to follow one procedure. We followed the procedure to a T. So tell me again what I did wrong.
Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Director, what was the procedure that the Vice Chair is referring to? Well, what did you follow?
Okay, so that's the second question you've asked me.
This
And I'm
has
trying
been
to
answered
answer.
every meeting
I'm listening.
since.
Yeah, I'm listening.
May I answer?
Yes.
Okay, so the first question was, do I think illegal food services are causing a rat problem? The answer is no, because I don't know of any illegal food services at the Housing Authority. The second question is, did I follow procedure according to the lease and HUD guidelines and city guidelines regarding that incident? And the answer is yes, I absolutely did. Thank you. And that issue was over, it was all cleared a long time ago. So the issue is done.
And what is that so-called procedure?
Oh, that a resident, if we're notified that something wrong was done, we would send that resident a notice, and we would also be in touch with the city organization to see if they have cleared that incident.
And has the city cleared this incident?
Yes.
And you've received communication from the city?
Yes.
Now, regarding violations of the lease, what actions has the authority taken?
What does that do with the report?
Well, again, I already said.
Chair just said.
But, and Director, I'm sorry to interrupt you. And again, Commissioner, I don't want to, you have every right to ask the questions. I just think you should be asking the questions at the appropriate time, right? It has nothing to do with the report. The report's over. I think we have, what do we have? We have 5 resolutions. That line of questioning doesn't fit into any of those resolutions. Where it would fit in would be in new business. And you have every right to do that. I just want to make sure that we're running a meeting smoothly so that the residents who don't really want to have to revisit something that we've revisited multiple times, I think they want to make sure that we're doing the business of the board. We'll finish that business, and then by all means, you can have the floor, but I just think you should do that at the appropriate time throughout the meeting.
Thank you. By all means, I'm going to take that opportunity to answer your comment, and that this is the appropriate time, because the chair just chastised the residents, saying that
I never chastised
you said the residents also need to take accountability.
We do.
Okay?
And I do.
You have not taken accountability.
Maybe not to
You
what
have
you think.
threatened me.
No, not to what you think I should have, but I'm sorry, I don't. If
So you're
I
not
did
taking
it to
accountability.
you,
Fine. Then the residents should not listen to you.
that's fine. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
No, you're insulting the residents. There was a resident came to one of these meetings and spoke about your illegal business, and you laughed at her. You sneered at her, and you never apologized.
I'm insulted by your actions at these board meetings.
Great.
Because you
Bring it.
don't know what you're doing. Grow up and put on your big boy pants.
Yes.
Holding chair accountable. That's what the job is.
You're accountable for your lousy opinions.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, before we move on to the resolution, I make an exception because there is a RAB member here from CCG. She's fairly new, doesn't know the rules. She wasn't aware she had to sign, and she would like an opportunity to speak to the board. So I would gladly ask her to come up. Frank actually went to get her.
Madam Chair, point of order. Happy to hear the resident speak, but I do have questions for the director regarding his report before we proceed to the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, she actually left, so we'll apologize.
So I have some questions for the director on his report. So, Director, I'm referring to page 2 of your report, Hoboken Housing Forward Update. The MDA agreement for the development partner. When you say it in front of you in May, that's when you hope to have a vote on a resolution?
Correct.
Okay. And we talked about the rough draft that I've requested. The final draft, how many days before the vote will the board receive the final draft?
I don't know that yet. It should be a week or so.
A week or so?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
So that would be 7 days?
About. Yeah.
Okay. So within 7 days, the board should receive the final draft before having a vote. Is that fair to ask?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on. The city is, according to your report, the city is proceeding with an environmental review known as Part 58 on all HHA public housing sites. What is involved with that review?
They take a look at if there are any environmental concerns on our sites. They will look at records, they will see if on our sites there was a gas well, if there was something that might prohibit the building of new buildings on our sites. That would be an environmental concern.
And there would be no requirement of the people conducting this review to enter into any resident homes?
No, not to my knowledge.
Great. When is the city, has the city informed you when that might be complete?
No.
Do we need that review before the anticipated May meeting?
No.
Why not?
Because we're bringing on a developer partner, we're not entering into a contract to build homes.
What if the environmental review finds something that would delay the redevelopment?
Then the redevelopment would be delayed.
Then we don't need to select. Then we don't need to select a developer partner.
Why not?
If it's delayed.
That's not really the way. That's not really the way redevelopment works. But
you deal with these issues as they come up. There's going to be, as we go through redevelopment, there's going to be 1,000 little issues. There's going to be this delay. There's going to be that. We're going to worry about finance. We're going to worry about environmental. These are hurdles to pass over as we go through with the developer partner. So to stop this process and wait because of a potential hurdle would be foolish. It's not the way
it would not be foolish, it would be prudent.
No, it would not be.
Moving on.
Great. Resolution?
No,
oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, I know you're trying to get through this as quickly as possible. So thank you for earlier today giving me copies of the attorney's invoices. After reviewing the two invoices for the two most recent periods, there's a reference to meeting minutes for Housing for Hoboken. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Is council familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. When can those meeting minutes be presented to the full board?
Really, they have to ask for them, and I would give them to the full board in the time that I have allowed to give them to. There's no problem with sharing.
So if I request today, in writing, this evening, I go home, keep working, can you get me those meeting minutes for the end of the week?
No.
Okay. When do you think you can get them to me?
I will promise you that I'll have them within the 14 days that I'm allowed to have
Do
them.
they already exist? Do they need to be
Well, it
created?
depends on what month. I'd have to go look and see if the last meeting minutes were produced yet. Well, the last meeting minutes would not have been approved by the Housing for Open Board, so they would not be real meeting minutes yet. So I'd have to go back and see when the last approved ones were. And
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
The Housing for Hoboken is not, in other words, is it a public entity? It's a separate entity from this entity.
It is. Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand, like, I can't get the minutes of the karate organizations. I mean, I'm asking a legal question.
Yeah, I'll have to ask that one.
If you're asking a legal question, then I have to make a point of order right now. I don't think that council should be answering any legal questions at the moment.
Well, you just you weren't just born, right?
So, Director, I'm
May I
asking
answer?
you.
Yeah, no, please, could you answer? I don't know the answer.
So technically, they would not be a record of the authority. It would be, up to the authority as a policy decision, and Housing for Hoboken as a policy decision whether you wanted to provide for disclosure of those minutes. Well, yes, they are not. They are not an authority record. The Housing for Hoboken Board is an independent entity. Some of the members of whom are appointed by this board but it is a separate entity from this board.
I got,
and from the housing authority.
I gotta say, you really should have kept your mouth shut, because between the two of you, you opened up a can of worms, because
Can we please be
I was a
respectful?
founding member of Housing for Hoboken. I drafted the resolution. Listen,
Congratulations.
why are you, what's with the attitude?
The attitude is because...
Listen, everybody here...
You asked me a question, I'd be happy to answer it. The attitude is because you're a petulant child.
Go for it.
Or at least you behave like one.
Yeah, that's the best you can do.
If you have a request, ask a respectful question. Everybody's here to be respectful and answer your questions.
Do you have a duty to
Except
be
for you.
impartial and professional?
Yes.
So do you.
That's right.
So do you.
One that he has not assaulted.
Yes.
And I have been.
No,
No, you haven't. Liar.
Day after day, month after month, I come to these meetings.
Day after day.
All right? Now, between the two of you, you just opened up a can of worms. Because I distinctly remember when we were creating Housing for Hoboken, that this board would have authority over Housing for Hoboken. It is not that independent. It reports to this board.
No, that's not correct. The board has, the president of the board, the chair of the board is a member, automatic member of that group, Housing for Hoboken. The board decides upon 2 other members. That is the representation. We have 3 on that board.
Correct. That is
We have
absolutely
2, that is correct, and we have 2 from the community.
So it is not
we move
an
forward?
independent
Yeah,
entity.
yeah.
And because, and by trying to imply this independent entity, that we're not entitled to their minutes, is what you're trying to go for.
Don't put words in my mouth, Commissioner.
I can see where you're going.
Can you? Well, please continue. Where else am I going?
Well, you're trying to say that we don't need the minutes, or that we shouldn't have access to
First of all, we have nothing to hide.
You have nothing to hide?
No.
Oh, you have lots to hide. Everybody on this board has a lot to hide.
Excuse me, I am the president. Excuse me, I will take full responsibility. I believe I am the president.
Great, I'm
Yeah?
glad you take full responsibility.
H4H. Yes, I am the president. I am the president for
You
H4H.
guys should behave like adults.
So-
Thank you.
Adolescents.
I am the
mean,
president.
all of you.
Excuse me, thank you. I am the president for H4H, so I will take full responsibility for the nonprofit, for its members, for its minutes, for anything that the group has to have, I will take full responsibility. First of all, I will stand behind everything we have done. If I teach religious school, so pardon me, I'm going to bring in religion here. It is a 100% kosher. There is nothing that the group is not doing except to move the redevelopment forward and resident services. We could take in money to do amazing things for the residents. We have input from the community. We put members from that community on the redevelopment team to make sure that things are done properly. We have assistance from our legal team, Matt's brother who comes to make sure that everything, if our questions are answered properly and everything is following the nonprofit and HUD guidelines.
Excellent.
So please let me know what we are doing
So,
correctly.
Madam Vice Chair, just to reiterate, to clarify, you take full responsibility for the actions of this board? Of the Housing for Hoboken
Yes.
Board? You're absolutely sure of that?
Yes.
Okay, that was 3 times, thank you. So, when can I get the minutes?
So, I have a question for council.
Do we have to do this?
Yeah, apparently we do. Council, should I go back to the Housing for Hoboken trustees and ask if they have any problem sharing the minutes?
My advice would be to have the commissioner make the request consistent with authority policy, and it will be addressed in due course.
Very good.
Thank you.
It's a nice
Moving forward.
nice little trick you got there. All right, moving on. Tricky. In your report, you had mentioned 2 positions that are presently being advertised.
Yes, sir.
Can you present the board with copies of the resumes, or excuse me, not the resumes, the job descriptions?
Yeah, I think they should be on our website. If not, we'll make sure they get up there tomorrow. But also, same answer, put in writing, I'll get them over to you.
Now, with some positions within the authority require assent from the board, do either of these positions require assent?
No.
Okay, thank you. That's all for now, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution number 2025-0401. Resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve meeting minutes for March 13, 2025, regular board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
David Edwards?
Wait, we're talking about the minutes?
Resolution 0401.
All right, continue.
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Forbes did inform me he had to leave at 8.
Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Gina, are you there?
You're on mute, Jeannie.
Can you?
Jeannie, can you hear us? You're muted. So we have 4 even without Jeannie.
Okay, I did.
Yay.
There she goes.
So how did you vote?
Yes.
And Michael Russo?
Aye.
James Sanford?
No.
Erica Seitzman?
Aye, yes.
Resolution number 2025-0402, resolution authorizing the payment of the monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
Yes, I have questions. Does anyone else have questions?
The floor is yours, Commissioner Sanford.
Thank you. I have questions regarding page 1, line item 1, Fitzpatrick and Waterman. Matt, do you think you can answer these questions?
I don't answer questions on the list of bills unless they're referred to me. I think your question is probably for the director.
Director, prior to this meeting, days and weeks in advance, I brought to the attention of General Counsel possible conflicts of interests and crimes that may or may not have been committed at the authority. I also brought to the attention of counsel that they may or may not have wittingly or unwittingly participated in those crimes. Are you aware of those messages?
No, sir.
Can I revise that, Director, if I may, just for the record? No actionable information was provided to us. I'm not sure what Commissioner thinks was provided other than his pure conjecture, but no facts supporting actionable information was provided to us.
Okay. Well, so thank you for responding to that, and so now let's have a conversation. So you're aware of the communications, you're aware of the legal memo.
I didn't respond, I corrected your mistake for the record.
I didn't make a mistake. I was asking the director if he was aware of our communications. So, counsel, I have brought to your attention several matters that concern your representation of the authority and your impartiality. Have you and your father taken a moment to read that legal memo and determine whether any, if there are any concerns with the rules of the New Jersey rules of professional conduct? This is for counsel.
Yeah, but I believe that he already answered that he found nothing actionable in those emails. That's the answer. Let's move on.
Nothing actionable.
He said that, didn't he?
So, counsel, how did you determine that there was nothing actionable? Well, what constitutes an actionable item?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
And I apologize.
I understand that you want to try to get to a point, Commissioner, but when you ask a question and you don't like the answer, it doesn't really give you the right to ask it again in a different way. It doesn't give you the right to take up the public's time, the board's time, just to try to get somebody in a gotcha moment. You can do all of that stuff you want. Make a record on email, in writing. You can do that until the cows come home. I got no problem with that. But to continue to do this during every single meeting is just asinine. It's crazy. And you asked the question, you got a response. You didn't like the response, so now you want to know how he determined something. He spent a lot of time and a lot of money to go to law school, and he's not going to take that time to teach you the law. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And get your own attorney, let them make whatever assertions you want to make, but at this time, it doesn't make sense for us as a community, and not even the board, as a community to sit here and listen to this nonsense constantly, over and over and over again. Make whatever assertions you want, put it in writing, get it all down on paper, give it to your lawyer, let them make the determinations, and they could have the lawyer-to-lawyer conversation. But to ask him to school you in the law is just ridiculous.
Commissioner Russo, it is the responsibility of every commissioner to ask questions and to review the list of bills of the authority. This is oversight. That is the duty that I am performing. Now, to the answers that are being provided, it's not necessarily a question of like, but yeah, I dislike when I am lied to. I am dislike when I am obstructed. And if you want to get to the nuts and bolts of where we're going with this, there was a hearing, an official government hearing.
Here we go.
To remove this government official from this board. The director and council were material to that hearing. Now, council would like to say that they have no idea.
That's incorrect. You told me we did not participate.
You did not participate. So then please help me to understand the difference between you did not participate versus you had no idea. What did you know about this removal hearing?
I'm not going to get into this over a list of bills. You've already been, these questions have been asked and answered repeatedly. Repeatedly.
I think the council was very clear, the Housing Authority Council was very clear
I think
that
all
there's
the
no
questions-
actionable material there. I think that's the end of it.
Okay, and I think we moved on. This question comes up at every.
We're not moving on. I'm still asking questions.
Commissioner, I would love to have
Run the meeting, unfortunately for you.
Commissioner, I would love to have a conversation with you if you'd like to at some point. But
that's absolutely not true. You guys continue.
Okay, so there's another answer you don't like.
You guys continue. I have the emails. You refused to.
Okay, so moving forward, could you please call the vote, please, Director?
Council. I'm
Could
asking
you please
questions
call the
here.
vote?
Listen,
I think I've given ample time to ask all the questions necessary to the list of bills.
Council, under the rules of professional conduct, 1.4, communication. A lawyer shall.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing, I'm not.
Sure. The rules of professional conduct, 1.4, communication. Item B, a lawyer shall keep a client reasonably informed about the status of a matter and promptly comply with reasonable requests for information.
He is not your lawyer.
He's
not your lawyer, he is the board's lawyer.
Pardon me, if I may, and one at a time, please, for the court reporter. The only reason why I'm engaging in this is because you're bringing up professional responsibility issues. You are not our client. That is about the 100th time you've been told this. This board is our client. The Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken is our client. James Sanford is not our client. You've been told repeatedly that if you think you need legal representation, go get it. But you refuse to because you don't want to hear anything. You don't like the answer? You just try to ask it a different way. You say it again next month. You've been given the answer. Just because you don't like it does not mean you haven't been given the answer.
Council, you're wrong on 2 points. One, your father,
Really,
Mr.
just call
Patrick
the
Waterman,
vote.
Can we please call the
prosecuted on
vote?
behalf
The
of the
chair
board.
called for a
Oh,
vote.
if I may, if I may.
I have repeatedly requested counsel from this board. I have repeatedly opposed resolutions for a criminal attorney to advise this commission.
If I may, Commissioner, prosecuted who? What are you talking about? You're talking about the hearing that you were at that we were not.
No, I'm talking about.
Thank you. Now moving forward, Director, I'm going to ask you to please call the
I'm talking
vote.
about the resolution recommending removal from the board. All
Is
of
there a motion and a
which were material to the board hearing.
Okay, so can we call the vote, Director?
Yeah, so let's move forward because
What a bunch of
chair,
liars.
the chairwoman has called for a vote. David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes. Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
We're a bunch of liars. No.
Erica
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-0403, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to ratify the March 12, 2025 award of an emergency contract to repair a steam leak at 311 Harrison Street.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns? Call the vote, Director.
No, I have questions. Is this for the line item that was in the list of bills, or is this for the?
This is for
For
a
the
resolution.
resolution, are you paying attention? Because now this is the third
Are you paying
time.
attention?
I absolutely am.
Okay, great. So, you're just trying to zip through this.
No, I'm trying to do my job and run a meeting, which you keep obstructing. But could we move forward?
That's funny.
Yes.
All right. So, Director, did you prepare a notification of emergency contract?
Yes, it's in front of you tonight.
Thank you. And what was the nature of the emergency? The steam leak at 311
There's
Harrison?
a steam leak underground at 311 Harrison. That was a major steam leak that threatened the heat to the building.
How did that happen?
The steam line failed.
So
Underground
the
steam line
the underground
failed.
steam line. Is this property that is owned, is this steam line owned by the authority, or is it owned by a utility?
It's owned by the authority.
How often, or is it possible for us to be reviewing or doing preventative maintenance on these lines?
Well, it is impossible to look at all of our steam lines. It's just not possible. I will say, for example, though, as a result of this, when we were down there, we did put a camera down the rest of that steam line, and we are concerned about the rest of that steam line. So we feel that we're going to get a scope of work and bid that steam line out over the summer, so it doesn't fail next winter. But it's virtually impossible to replace all of our steam lines. Many of our steam lines are ancient. They've been under that ground for a long time, and now and then one will fail. It's the nature of mechanics that things fail.
So is the steam line accessible, or you say it's underground, it had to be dug
It was
up?
6 feet underground.
6 feet, okay. So, moving on. Did the alleged emergency happen on April 3rd?
On March 12th.
March 12th.
Yeah.
And when the alleged emergency happened, who did you contact to address the emergency?
There were 3 firms that we contacted to come on out and request that they address the emergency.
And what were the 3 firms?
Emil, can you remind me?
Yes, it was Carini, Manhattan Welding, and Worth and Company.
So, how did you select Garini?
They were the ones that could come. They were the only ones that could come.
What was that third one, Emil? Weldon?
Worth.
Worth?
Worth and Company.
Worth and Company. And the second one was Manhattan Welding?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, could you repeat your answer for why you selected Garini?
Yeah, I mean, my answer was that
I didn't hear you.
they were the only ones that could get there that day, immediately. And that was required, or we were not going to have heat.
No, I understand.
Okay.
No, I listened to your answer. I'm thinking about your answer.
Moving forward.
Wait,
Director.
I'm still asking questions. Why are you so jumpy? So, one reason why I have such a great interest in Garini and your selection of Garini is that we had a similar or a different type of emergency with the plumber, requiring a plumber, several months ago, maybe a year ago. Is that accurate?
It might be, I don't quite remember, but yeah, we have them periodically. We've got a lot of underground steam lines and boiler systems.
Well, when I asked you about the last emergency notification where Garini was also selected, I had asked you who you had contacted and who was Garini's backup, and you did not have answers for that at the time. So did you, in the interim, select Worth Company or Manhattan as potential backups, just in case Garini couldn't do it?
I can't answer that. I don't know what we've done since then. I have to look back at the last one and what conversation you're saying we had. Again, when we have an emergency and we have to get heat for our residents, we do not hesitate. I am charged with having our residents warm in the wintertime.
Well, so the concern I have is that there have been 2 alleged emergencies, and Garini Plumbing has been the firm. Garini Plumbing has been the firm that has been selected.
Right.
Now, as a former chair of the procurement committee, we had a procurement process in place to address these matters. But by doing an emergency contract, it circumvents the normal procurement process.
Well, yeah, it does, because it's an emergency. You can't,
I'm sure you didn't plan it.
You can't predict an emergency, and when it's 10 in the morning and a steam line is spewing steam and the building isn't going to have heat, you call and say, who can get a crew out here with shovels to dig 6 feet in the ground that has the ability, the capability, the equipment, everything that's needed to do that. And to protect our residents, if a particular contractor says yes and the other ones say no, we go.
Well, Director, the unfortunate history of this housing authority, one of the reasons why this housing authority was put on $0 procurement was because the past executive director had previously done a great many jobs under the emergency contract mechanism, thereby circumventing the normal procurement process.
Commissioner, I'll remind you once again, as I've reminded you in the past, I would be careful with how you proceed talking about certain individuals. You may create liability on the part of the authority. So at this point, if you're going to speak about certain individuals, you are speaking on your own behalf, not on the authority's behalf.
Is that any different from your father calling me inhuman or doing the
Can we move forward?
slandering me?
I would like to
Commissioner,
disparaging me?
Commissioner?
Yes.
I am giving you advice based on a settlement agreement that you signed.
Did I say the person's name?
Yes.
You can proceed however you'd like, but you are proceeding on your own behalf.
I'm not proceeding.
Thank you.
I'm proceeding as a commissioner of the Housing Authority.
But you don't speak for
But
this
you're not
board.
speaking for the authority.
I am not
Thank
speaking
you.
for the authority. I'm the only
Okay.
one asking questions about some rotten
Thank you for
processes.
confirming that for the record.
Whatever may or may not have happened in the past, Commissioner, we were taken off of 0 threshold because of my administration's exemplary actions in doing purchases. And HUD has come in and done the audit. We have not had anything that has even indicated that we have not done purchasing according to policy, New Jersey, and federal law.
Thank you for that.
So, exemplary purchasing.
Yes.
So, here's another concern.
Does this concern the resolution?
It does.
Okay, okay.
So, and it also concerns whether or not certain commissioners should vote on this resolution. So, prior to, I understand this was an alleged emergency. Was there any attempt to look for any potential conflicts of interest?
Oh, God. We did this.
Yeah, no. Oh, God, this is terrible.
No.
Okay.
It was an emergency.
So, are you aware of the amount of money that employees of Garini Plumbing have donated to Councilman Russo, Commissioner Russo?
That has nothing to do with the rest of
It has nothing to do with us.
But if we had followed a actual normal procedure.
But this was not a
this vendor
normal
would have
incident, this was
disclosed
an
those
emergency.
donations, would they not?
Yes, but again, this was an emergency. My job
You say
is
it's
to...
really I don't believe so.
Okay, fine.
Well, you wouldn't know because you're never down at the housing authority, maybe walking our buildings and seeing what we live and how we live and why we live this way, which is why it's so important for this redevelopment to move forward. Then you would understand why the people on this board actually are okay with these things being put in as an emergency, because it's an emergency. I have family that lives in that building. So yes, it's important. It happened, it was an emergency, and he had handle it accordingly, just how he has handled in the past emergencies.
Madam Chair, respectfully, at this time.
Don't respectfully me after you sat here and disrespected everyone
You're asking
on
me to
this
be
board.
respectful. Very well. So, Councilman Commissioner Russo, I would respectfully ask you not to vote on this resolution.
Take the vote.
No.
Could we call the vote, Director?
No, you're not going to vote on it, or you are going to?
Director, could we call the vote?
The vote for Resolution 2025-0403,
Commissioner, for
David
the protection
Edwards.
of the authorities, I am requesting that you do not vote
He's not
on this
interested.
resolution.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara
You
Reyes.
are,
Yes.
you are a recipient of massive donations
Gene.
from Garini Plumbing.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford. Erica Seitzman.
Listen,
Okay, James
no,
Sanford,
you
Erica
received
Seitzman.
tens of thousands of dollars from Garini
Okay,
Plumbing
so
and
moving
its employees.
forward,
You should not
resolution
do
number
this.
2025-0404, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to increase the amount of contract for Harrison Gardens interior stairwell renovation.
Madam Chair, point of order, I'd like to make a motion.
Check.
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
I'd like to make a motion
Wait,
to reconsider.
There's a motion and a second on
Okay.
the floor. Am I correct?
For 2025-04.
Okay, so for 2025-0404, could we move forward? Questions, concerns? Call the vote, Director.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes. Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica
Yes,
Seitzman.
aye. Resolution number
Madam Chair, I'd like
2025-04.
to make a motion to reconsider resolution 2025-04.03 about the repair, the emergency contract. I'd like to make
Okay, there's a
to
motion. Is
reconsider.
there anyone that would like to second the motion? There's no seconder, Commissioner Sanford. Moving on.
So, we have a resolution 2025-0405, I lost track. Was there a first and a second?
Yeah.
No,
Not yet.
no.
No.
Motion.
Second.
Any
Questions,
discussion?
concerns? Director, could you call the vote?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Michael Russo.
Aye.
James Sanford.
No.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes. Resolution number 2025-0405.
We just did
That was it.
We just did that one.
Oh.
Motion closed.
Okay.
Second.
Before we do that, I just want to say thank you to the Hoboken Police Department, as this month they have done an amazing job down at the Housing Authority. I witnessed it personally. I informed the director and some of the other board members of what was going on, and I just have to say that sometimes they're not given the credit, because sometimes I get it, we don't see it, but I have personally seen how hard they've been working in our buildings and making sure that we're safe. So I just wanted to give them a shout out and say thank you, we appreciate it.
I must say, I see it all the time. Sometimes you see it, but I see it all the time. These guys are fantastic, particularly this gentleman here, Sergeant Collins.
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
All in favor?
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Quit calling me.